Hello ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this course, Introduction to Linguistics. This lecture is number 7, and today inshallah we are going to talk about semantics. Semantics, which is one of the components of linguistics. So, to start with the semantics, we need to define it. So semantics is the study of meanings of words, phrases, and sentences in language. Semantics always deals with meanings. So whenever we say semantics, the first thing which comes to our mind is meaning. So it deals with the meanings of either words, phrases, or sentences. It focuses on what the words conventionally mean rather than on what an individual speaker might think they mean or want them to mean on a particular occasion. It's concerned with objective or general meaning and avoids subjective or local meaning. So it looks at, it's concerned with looking at the comprehensive meaning of words, phrases, or sentences. As semantics deals with studying meaning, we can make distinction between conceptual meaning and associative meaning. These are, we can say, the two types of semantics. So conceptual meaning covers basic, essential components of meaning that are used by the literal use of a word. It's the type of meaning that dictionaries are designed to describe. So a word like needle, for example, which is a very sharp tool, might have conceptual meanings as thin, sharp, steel instrument. So we can say, we can give it a description. Okay, we call this conceptual meanings. Unlike the second type of semantics, which is associative. Associative meaning or associative semantics have different associations or connotations attached to words. So for example, a word such as needle might have associative meanings like pain, illness, blood, thread, or netting, which is hard to be seen. Those meanings which are abstract rather than touchable or seen or observable meanings. As you see here, pain, illness, such associative meanings are really hard to be or cannot be seen, or I mean these meanings are not concrete, unlike these meanings which can be given a certain which can be easily described. A sentence such as the word hamburger, for example, a sentence such as the hamburger ate the boy may sound odd, right? This oddness doesn't derive from its syntactic structure, but semantically odd. From a structural point of view, this is absolutely correct. We have a subject, we have a verb, and object. So from a syntactical point of view, this is absolutely correct. But when it comes to the semantic point of view, this sentence sounds odd. This sentence sounds weird. So the structural meaning of the noun hamburger must be different than the noun boy. So there is something that is wrong. The noun hamburger doesn't have the property of eating as boy does. Okay? The boy is the thing, or the boy who has the property of eating something. We can't say that the hamburger has this property, unlike human beings, unlike the boy who has this property, who has this function of eating hamburger. So once we analyze, once we get this perception, once we get this understanding, we can easily identify that this sentence from a semantical point of view is incorrect. We need to move the object, the boy, and we need to take it to the front. We need to take it to the beginning of sentence. So we say the boy ate the hamburger. What about semantic features? It's an illustration of a procedure for analyzing meaning. Simply, a semantic feature refers to an illustration of a procedure for analyzing meaning. Such features that we mean here, things like animate, human, female, these features, okay, are often used, or these features are often used to differentiate meanings of different words in a language. So, for example, we have some words which refer to, sometimes which refer to animate. Some other words might refer to inanimate. It's the same thing with words, I mean with other words, they might refer to humans, they might refer to animals. Some words might refer to females or female, other words might refer to a male. So different words or different vocabulary, different lexical items have different semantic features. So such features are very helpful in order to differentiate different meanings of different words in a language. Semantic features are also used to determine the feature of meaning that any noun must have to describe part of the meaning of words as having either minus or plus, that particular feature. Now we move to something very interesting, which is words as containers of meaning. Semantics deals with analyzing the conceptual components of word meaning, yet this is not always without a problem. Sometimes this may lead to a number of problems. Such problems involve a view of words in a language as some are not sort of containers that carry meaning components, such as words advice, threat, warning. These words, we can't say that these words have containers of meaning. So such words have more meanings than basic type features such as adult, human, and animate. They have more, they are more sophisticated words. In semantics, we also have what is known as semantic rules. Such rules fulfill within the situation described by a sentence. Let's look at this sentence in order to verify the meaning of semantic rules. The boy kicked the ball. This is a straightforward sentence. We have a subject, we have a verb, and the object. So the verb kick describes an action, and the noun phrase, the boy, describes the role of entities, such as people and things involved in the action. So here we have just sorry for this. Okay, so here we have a verb which describes an action, and we know that the purpose of a verb is to describe an action, and we have a noun phrase which is the boy, which can also describe the role of entities. These entities might be people, might be things, which involved in the action. Accordingly, the given rule can identify semantic, or what is known as also semantic rules for the noun phrase. Okay? So the given rule in this sentence can identify the semantic or thematic rules for the noun phrase the boy. Okay. So semantic rule is a big thing, okay, and it has a number of types. One of these types, which is interesting, is agent and theme. So what is the differences between agent and theme? If we look at this example, the same example just given in the previous slide, the boy kicked the ball. The noun phrase, the boy, is the entity that performs the action, which is known as agent, So agent So the boy can be described as the agent. Whereas the noun phrase, the ball, is the entity that is involved in or affected by the action, which is known as the theme. So agent and theme, they always come together. Let me say it again. Agent refers to the entity that performs the action. It goes back, or it describes the action. It describes the entity, the person who does the action. Whereas the theme, it refers to the entity that is involved in or affected by the action, which is the theme. It's like the topic, okay? And the agent looks like the doer, the person or the thing that perform the action. So both of these two semantic rules can be human or non-human. Same thing with theme, okay? Can also be human or non-human. It can be a human or it can be a thing, okay? These are the most common semantic rules. So theme, okay, so agent and theme are among the most common semantic rules. We move to another type of semantic rules, which are known as instrument and experiencer. If an agent, which we have just looked at, uses another entity to perform an action, that other entity fills the role of an instrument. Let's look at this example. The boy cut the rope with an old razor. An old razor is a noun phrase, which is being used in the semantic rule of instrument. So when a noun phrase, like this noun phrase, an old razor, is used to designate an entity as the person who has a feeling, perception, or state, it fills the semantic rule of experiencer. If we, for example, see or enjoy something, we are not really performing an action, rather we are in the role of experiencer. We are in the place of experiencing that action. Okay? So here is the subtle differences between experiencer, okay, and agent. So when I say the boy feels sad, okay, the experiencer is the boy, okay, which can also be described as the agent. Okay, so the experiencer or the boy, the noun phrase, can have two semantic rules. It can function as an agent, as we have just looked at in the previous slide, and it can also be seen as, or it can also be described as the experiencer. The third type of semantic rules is is known as location, source, and goal. If an entity is in the description of a certain event, so, okay, if an entity is in the description of an event where an entity, such as on table, in the room, etc., fills the role of location. So it fills the role of location. Where the entity moves from is the source, okay, and where it moves to is the goal. So we have location, which can express, a place, source, okay, which can also sometimes express a place, and goal also sometimes it expresses also a certain place. It depends on the context of the sentence. Let's look at these examples. She borrowed a magazine from George. We can simply analyze this sentence by saying that she can function as an agent. Borrowed a magazine is the theme. From George is the source. Okay, another example. She handed the magazine back to George. Again, she is an agent. Handled the magazine is the theme. Back to George can be described or can have the function of goal. Okay, because it has it describes or it expresses where it moves to. So it expresses a movement here. Okay. Now we move to lexical relations. So what do we mean by lexical relations? Okay, words might have relationships with each other. So, for example, the word conceal, it has a similar meaning as hide. These two verbs might be argued having the same problem, having the same meaning. Conceal has the same or has a similar meaning as hide. This explanation of meaning is in terms of relationship. So we can simply say that these two verbs, these two words have a relationship. Okay? In such example, we are characterizing the meaning of each word in terms of its relationship to each other. So lexical relations refers to how words are related to each other. So in such example, this example which I have just mentioned, conceal and hide, we are characterizing the meaning of each word in terms of its relationship to each other, not in terms of its component features. This is known as the analysis of lexical relations. Okay. Regarding lexical relations, we have numerous types of lexical relations. Let's start with the clearest one, which is synonymy. What is synonymy? Synonymy refers to two or more words with very closely related meanings. They can be replaced or they can be substituted for each other in a sentence. For example, let's look at this question. What was his reply? I can easily replace the word reply with answer, arguing that these two words are synonyms, reply and answer. Same thing with these examples, big and large, freedom and liberty, broad and wide, couch and sofa. These two words, or this group of words, are closely related to each other. So we can say that these words are synonyms of each other. The idea of sameness in these words, okay, is not necessarily to be total sameness. So the idea of sameness, of meaning used here, is not necessarily total sameness. So if I can't say that reply, or the word reply, has exactly the same meaning as answer. Yes, they are related, okay? They, to some extent, they are similar, okay, but I can't say that they are not totally same. There is still a level of differences. There is still a level of difference between these two words. But generally speaking, they refer to something in common. So they share some similar features. Okay, the second type of lexical relations is known as antinomy, okay, or antinomy. So antinomy refers to two forms or two words with opposite meanings, such as alive and dead. These two words are completely different, okay? Enter and exit, fast and slow, happy and sad, rich and poor, true and false, etc. Okay, so here we have opposite meanings. These words are dealing with opposite meanings. There are two types of antonyms. We have what is known as gradable antonyms and non-gradable antonyms. With the gradable antonyms, they are known as opposite along a scale. Okay, so they are not direct, opposite. They are not opposite. They don't have exactly opposite meanings. Okay, unlike non-gradable, which have direct opposite meanings. So gradable antonyms are used in comparative construction, such as sadder, okay, and richer, or colder, or shorter, okay? And the negative antonym doesn't necessarily imply the opposite. For example, when I say, my car is not old, this doesn't necessarily imply that my car is new, okay? So this type of antonyms can be described as gradable. In other words, we can use comparative construction with it. The second type of antonyms are known as non-gradable antonyms. Those antonyms which are not used in comparative construction, like for example, true and false. Okay, as you see here, we can't, or with such words, okay, we can't use the comparative form or the comparative construction. We can't say female and, the opposite of true is false. The opposite of male is female. The opposite of married is single, etc. And the negative of one member of non-gradable pair or of non-gradable antonyms doesn't imply the other member. This type of antonyms are called reversives. Some common examples are like enter, exit, back and unback, lengthen and shorten. The third type of lexical relations is known as hyponymy. When the meaning of one form is included in the meaning of another, such as the relationship in the pairs, okay, as we have in animals and horse, insect and ant, flower and rose, this is known as hyponymy. Hyponymy includes the concept of inclusion. So we have a word or a certain lexical item that's in top, and the other or the other word, okay, comes beneath it, okay, or under this word. For example, as I have just told you, animal and horse. Okay, animal comes at the top, and horse, which is the hyponymy of animal. okay, which is part of the animal kingdom, for example. Insect and ant, it's the same thing. Flower and rose, okay. So here we are dealing with what is known as part, whole and part. It's based, of course, on hierarchical relationship, okay. Hyponymy is classified into two types. We have what is known as superordinate, okay, which comes at the first level, or which comes at a higher level, okay, as for example horse, okay. So a horse or horse is a hyponymy, or is a hyponym of animal, and ant is a hyponym of insect. We call this, as we have in horse and ant, we call them superordinate. On the other hand, when two words or more words share the same superordinate, this is called co-hyponyms, as in, for example, dog and horse, okay, because since they both come under the animals, okay, we call them co-hyponyms, and the superordinate is animal, okay. So superordinate is the what is located at the higher level, okay, and hyponym is the part, okay. It's not the main thing, or it's not the whole, it's the part. Now I move to the fourth type of lexical relations, which is known as prototypes. So the idea of the characteristic instance of a category. So it refers to the idea of the characteristic instance of a category. A prototype helps to explain the meaning of certain words like bird, not in terms of component features. For example, by saying that an animal which has features, or an animal who has wings, but in resemblance of the clearest example. So for example, if we look at these examples, dog, parrot, and robin, these all, these words are all described as co-hyponyms of the superordinate of bird. Okay, because we have bird, which is located at the higher level, which is located at the at a higher level, and duck, parrot, robin are all examples of birds, so we call them co-hyponyms. They are not considered equally good examples of bird, obviously, okay. So they are not considered equally good examples, okay, because they are just parts of the bird kingdom, and that's why we can describe them as co-hyponyms. Again, or we are still continue talking about prototypes. A prototype involves the idea that some general pattern to the categorization process, which determines our interpretation of word meaning. For example, when I say furniture, the first word which comes to our mind is chair, okay? So not couch or stool or bench. So the label furniture would involve chair as a better example than stool or bench. I can say that chair is always associated with furniture. It's more common, or it has more associative relationships than stool or bench or other words. Some words like tomato and avocado might cause some problems, okay? Since these two words are a little bit problematic because they can be described differently in different contexts. So, for example, when I say tomato, okay, this can refer to fruit and can also refer to vegetable. Same thing with avocado. Okay, some people consider it as part of fruit, others consider it as part of vegetable. Okay, so they can be treated as co-hyponyms of both fruit and vegetable in different, of course, context. Sorry, it's not content, it's in different context. We are still talking about the different types of lexical relationship, of different types of lexical relations. Here we have what is known as homophones and homonyms. So when two or more different written words have the same pronunciation, they are described as homophones. So homophones refer to those words, okay, which have different written, which have different meanings, okay, which might be also written differently, okay, but they share the element of pronunciation. They have the same pronunciation as in these examples, right and right, two, two, and two, okay. These words have very similar pronunciation, okay, but they have different meanings, okay. So these ones are called homophones. On the other hand, homonyms, when one word written or spoken has two or more unrelated meaning, okay, such words are known as what? They are known as, or they can be described as homonyms. Like, for example, bat and bat. Bat and bat. They share, the same spelling, okay, but they have unrelated meaning. So when I say bat and bat, all right? So when one word has two or more unrelated meaning, so the first bat refers to a kind of a creature, kind of a flying creature, and bat, the same spelling, the same, the same pronunciation, okay, but different meaning, refers to something else. It refers to a tool which is used in sport. In addition to this, homonyms are words that have separate histories and meaning, but have accidentally come to have exactly the same form, okay? So homonyms have the same form, okay, but they have different histories and different meanings. Polysemy is the, we can say it's the last type of lexical relations, and it's when we encounter two or more words with the same form and related meaning. A word which has multiple meanings with the same pronunciation, with the same entity. So we have just one word, we have a single entity with having multiple meanings. This is known as polysemy. It's one form, okay, either written or spoken, with having multiple meanings that are all related by extension. For example, head. Okay, I can use the same word, okay, to refer to different meanings. For example, I can say, I can use it to refer to the object on top of your body, okay. I can also use it to refer to a person at the top of company or a department or for example, at the top of company, a department, etc. Okay, so we have the same word, okay, which with two, let's say, with having multiple meanings. Same thing with these examples of polysemy, like face, foot, get, head. These examples can be used very differently in order to express numerous meanings based on different context. So what about word play? we can say that each of homophones, homonyms, and polysemy are the basis for wordplay. So, for example, when I say Mary had a little lamp, okay, this sentence can be interpreted very differently based on the context. So I might say the lamp in the as a first interpretation might refer to a small animal. Okay, I think we all know it. Okay, whereas the same sentence, the same word might refer to another meaning. It might refer, or it might has a different interpretation. So lamp might refer to a small amount of meat. Okay, so people, okay, sometimes use these words for this purpose, for the purpose of wordplay. Okay. We have also what is known as metonymy. It's a type of relationship between words based simply on close connection in everyday experience. That close connection can be based on a container-contents relationship, for example, bottle and water, okay? Or a whole-part relationship, for example, car and wheels. Or a representative sample relationship, for example, king and crown. Okay? So metonymy is used for talking about things like filling up a car or answering the door. And through this type of lexical relationship, we started accepting things like, I drank the whole bottle. In fact, this sentence refers to the liquid or the juice or what is inside the bottle rather than the bottle itself. So the meaning is already implied in this. Same thing with the White House has announced. No one would say that the White House, okay, will talk or will speak, okay, since it's an animate object, okay. But we know that someone from the White House has announced something. Okay. Now I come to the end of my lecture for today for semantics, and I hope you enjoy it. I would like each one of you guys to look at the chapter, because there are more examples in the chapter. I try to summarize some of the important examples, okay? But in order to get the full understanding of this chapter, I highly urge each one of you to look at the chapter, to read it and to understand it. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best, and see you next time.